I bet you didn't know this was a thing, did you? That you could actually get fired from marriage coaching or marriage counseling. I know. Usually clients are the ones that fire their therapist or their coach, not the other way around. But here's the twist. Most of the time, I don't even have to do the firing. Your spouse volunteers for the job, free of charge, no paperwork required. So today I'm going to give you 5 surefire ways to get kicked out of marriage coaching. And listen, I say this with humor, but if you see yourself in one of these, we are going to fix it. Because if you're in marriage coaching right now, I am assuming that you actually want your marriage to work. So let's talk about what not to do. Before we jump in, I want you to understand something. Marriage coaching doesn't fail because coaching doesn't work. It fails because one or both people quietly sabotage the process. And when that happens long enough, the motivated spouse simply gives up. So here we go. Here's the first way that you do it. You show up late consistently. And I don't mean 5 minutes. I mean 10, 15, 25 minutes late. And when you walk in, you say nothing. No, I'm sorry, no acknowledgement. You just plop down on the couch and exhale dramatically. Here's what that communicates to your spouse. I don't value your time. I don't believe in this process. And I definitely don't value how hard it was for you to get here. You want to know how many spouses get fed up with that? All of them. You don't get kicked out because you're late once. You get kicked out because you show your partner, you show your spouse that this doesn't matter to you. The second way that you do this, you blame your spouse for everything. This one is wildly popular. Every time that your spouse brings something, you respond with, "But you made me mad. You shouldn't do that. If you didn't act that way, I wouldn't react this way." You may not sound like that. We just go with that. Translation, I take zero responsibility. And here's the problem. Coaching only works when people say, yes, I contributed also. If your husband, if your wife is doing the work, speaking respectfully, using the tools, trying to grow, and you keep swatting the ball back into their court, eventually they will think, why am I even here? Blame is relationship cyanide, one drop at a time. The third way that you might be doing this, you go back on your work. This one doesn't even require drama. You say things like, yeah, I know I agreed, but I changed my mind. I say stuff all the time, you know that. You can't expect me to keep every promise I make. Let me translate that also. Once a linguist, always a linguist. My word doesn't mean anything. Here's the problem. Trust is built on consistency. If your spouse cannot rely on what comes out of your mouth, coaching, counseling, therapy becomes pointless because growth requires follow through. You don't get kicked out because you made a mistake. You get kicked out because your spouse feels like nothing will ever change. The fourth way that you might be volunteering to get yourself kicked out, you don't do the homework. Ah, yes, the famous what homework? My personal favorite, did you do it? Why didn't you remind me? If you consistently do nothing outside of our sessions, your spouse starts leaving the sessions more defeated than when they walked in. And at some point in time, they're going to think, I'd rather just come here alone than feel rejected every single week. Marriage coaching is not a magic room. The work happens between sessions. No effort outside the office equals no progress inside it. The fifth way that you end up digging yourself a hole and getting yourself fired from marriage coaching, you cancel last minute. Bonus points if you don't even tell your spouse, or you cancel when they've already arranged childcare, or drove across town, or pushed through a migraine to get there. And when they confront you, you say, I'm not their keeper. Listen carefully. Nothing says this marriage isn't important to me louder than canceling growth. Once, that's all right. Life happens. Repeatedly doing it, that's a message. and your spouse hears it loud and clear. The bonus way that you end up kicked out of marriage coaching, you show up under the influence. You think I'm joking? No, I wish. This happens too. Now, you don't have to be falling over drunk. The smell will do. And here's what that says. I don't want to feel this. I don't want to deal with this. I would rather be numb than to show up. Working on your marriage requires your presence. So if you're chemically checked out, your spouse will emotionally check out as well. And when that happens, you're done. Now, let's take a breath. If you're watching this and you're thinking, oh no, I've done one of those, or two or three, good. That means, one, that you paid attention, and it means that you care. You don't get kicked out of counseling. You don't get kicked out of marriage coaching for messing up. You get kicked out for refusing to engage. Marriage coaching works when you show up on time, you take responsibility, you keep your word, you do the work actually, when you respect the process and you stay sober enough to be present. That's it. It's not complicated. It's hard, all right, but it's not complicated. So if you are the spouse who's trying, well done and thank you. You're one step closer. On the other hand, if you're the spouse who recognizes yourself in this list, you still have time, because here's the truth. The goal of marriage coaching isn't to win, it's to rebuild trust. And that requires participation. So before your spouse decides that they're done, ask yourself this question. Am I here to prove that I'm right, or am I here to make this work? That question alone can save your entire marriage. If this video helped you, I want you to share it with someone else who needs it. And if you want more honest, practical marriage advice just like this, subscribe to this channel. That's what I do here all the time, because we're not done here yet. This is just the beginning.